contained or well labeled. So the others, the Trail Boss, is pretty doggone interesting looking. Little donuts, I kind of like that, looks cool. And of course the Varget are the bigger chunks. Now, this all gets real interesting when you start figuring out how well it meters. I set my powder measure, manual powder measure, and I just started throwing the charges. You saw how tight those SD numbers were? That was just, I set it, and I would throw all 50 charges, take a look at them, and look about the same, and load the bullets, seed the bullets into them, load the ammo, and shot them. And that was just fun. It worked out really, really well. I can tell that the Trail Boss and the pistol and the Tight Group are all going to work pretty good if used in a progressive machine too, because that doesn't measure out doesn't weigh every single powder charge either. So at the end of all loading and shooting in these big bore revolvers and the 45 ACP, I came to a few conclusions about Tight Group. It is a fast burning pistol powder. I was amazed at the tight SD figures that we got out of it in all three of these different cartridges. It did really well, particularly in the 45. The 44 added real nice tight ES and SD figures that should lead to better accuracy downrange. It seems to be quite clean burning, especially if the pressure is kept up there towards the maximum level loads where it will actually seal the brass against the cylinder rails. That's a good thing. You can use very small charge weights, which makes it pretty economical to use. I don't know about you, but I have a limited shooting budget, and I put good money down per pound of powder if I can get hundreds of rounds of practice out of them. I like that. That's a good thing. Clean burning, didn't have to do much cleaning on these. They came out, I was surprised, especially with the 44 Magnum, how nice and clean it looked after I was done shooting. And I'm going to put Tight Group down as one of my favorite powders for loading big bore cartridges for handguns. 44s and 45s. It just made a real good impression on me, and I'll be using it on my load. Thing about Alliant 83 and the One Shot True Blue. That's what it belongs, and that makes it really useful in handgun cartridges. Ideal cartridges for this? Well, I'm going to say that the cartridges that we used in our test, the 38 plus B, not that often we're getting 38 special either. Just normal standard loads. I've done some work with that. We haven't published that yet. We will. 257 Magnum, it worked out very well. 44 Magnum, and I didn't try it in a 44 special load, but it looks like it would be very, very good for that too. 45 ACP, good old 45 ACP. Short, stubby case with a lot of volume there, and if I can perform well in that, and 45 Colt would perform well. Very well, as a matter of fact. We'll get into that here in a bit. So earlier, we shot 38 plus P and 357 Magnum out of our Henry revolvers with head cartridges. And I think that Tight Group is a very good alternative. A lot of you probably, like me, have been holding the 44 since the 80s, and I've always had a more mild load for it, usually out of the 8 or something along those lines. And I think Tight Group is a very good, very clean burning alternative to that for a similar power level. We'll get up around 900,000 feet per second with 240, 250 millimeters. And you're going to be looking pretty good. Very comfortable to shoot and still plenty of punch for most things. So one of my favorites is the 45 ACP. It's been around even longer than I have. Okay, that's a good thing. Well proven, used in the military and law enforcement, in the sporting fields, and for self-defense. It's also a very popular target cartridge. So you get your good old 1911 45 ACP, or there's a lot of other designs in 45 ACP as well now. And you've got yourself a pretty serious cartridge. Yeah, it's old school, okay, and I know you can have that 9mm versus 45 or even whatever you want. I'm going to stay away from that today. We shot the Tight Group in the 45 ACP, and I have to tell you, I was impressed. Now, I'm going to use the Barry's bullet on this. This is a 30 grain hollow point Barry's bullet, and that has a very deep hollow point and some skives cut into it. Little twisted cuts in there that help it open up faster. Barry's recommends it as both a self-defense type of bullet and as a target bolt. I like it. I did notice that it seems to carry its diameter pretty far forward in the gun, and when I loaded the overall cartridge length a little shorter than normal, I was able to start getting some better reliability. Because before that, I was having a little bit of trouble feeding from the magazines, and I was having a little bit of trouble extracting a loaded round from the chamber. And so I shortened my overall length up a bit. So that's something I want to do. Things improved a lot, so shorten up my length a little bit. That's something you want to adjust for your particular magazines, particular 45. Find that spot where the bullet needs to be seated to so that it functions really well in your gun. Again, it was a very satisfying shooting experience. I love the 45. I put thousands and thousands of rounds through this, over 80,000 rounds to it. It's a good old gun. Bought it in 97, first year for the bonkers Timber 45s coming out, and it's still doing really, really well. The 230 grain bullet is a very standard weight for the 45 ACP, so I want to stick with that. Hodgson says 4.8 grains is what you should use, so I said, roger that, I'll do that. And away we went. 809 feet per second average, 809.9, okay. And we got
battery power measure for one of those practical things I like about it is when I'm done loading, I've got some powder up. Very easy to take that top part off and pour the powder right back in its container. Yep. Very easy to do that instead of unscrewing the whole thing. Right. How many turns do I have to do this? So, and then coming over to the turret press here, 8 stations. I'm using 4 of them for this loading. I have the sizer decapper. Yep. And then the head and the belly. And then seating a separate seating gun. Yep. And so nice roll thing. These cases you've already sized and primed. Right. Okay, so we're gonna charge each case. Looks like we're just validating the charge. So that's what we did. Take that off the mat. We're gonna fire. Fire. Makes it easier for the red bolt to go in. And we're going to take one of our cast performance bullets. Always do a final powder check. Me too. Before we do that. Just in case. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll. That big old top heavy muscle thing. 300 grain, 45 volt. I like that. Okay, so. We're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Oh. I haven't loaded my turret in a while. Yeah, it doesn't take care of it for you. You have to really think about each thing, right? I'm okay with that. Kind of what mood you're in and how much time you have, you know? Yeah. Anyways, this is